So HRT, like, what is the general consensus? What's the? I mean, you've interviewed so many experts for your book and your other, your other work. Everyone who I've spoken to about it seems to be very positive, like in favor of it.
Yeah.
Is that the general?
Well, I think if they've been educated about it and they've read about it and asked questions about it, then yes. If they remember what we all have heard through the years, and a lot of us didn't even know where we got that information. So my mom died of breast cancer. So the big cloud that hung over my head all the time was breast cancer. Like anything that has anything to do with it, any study I read, anything. So in 2002, there was a women's health initiative, and essentially those headlines were very frightening that equated estrogen with breast cancer. And that is where that kind of came from. Doctors stopped prescribing it. Medical schools stopped teaching it. They came back and said, like, oh, wait, here's what to really understand about the study, about the people in the study, and about estrogen. Today, when we talk about hormone therapy, we're not even talking really about the same type of hormone therapy we were talking about 3 years ago. And so when I talk to people about it, or when we actually did research for the film, we wanted women to feel comfortable and say, we're not advocating for hormone therapy, but we're going to show you what happens to your body in menopause and perimenopause when you start losing these hormones. And we lose these hormones very differently, and we lose these hormones over a period of time, and that's what causes a lot of these symptoms. So for me, hormone therapy is the most effective treatment for some of the major symptoms of menopause. And if that helps me down the line with bone health, with heart health, and with brain health, then yes, I'm all for it, because those are my fears. My fears are heart issues and brain issues, and we have estrogen receptors all over our body. And if we don't have that estrogen in our body, then for me, that's not how I want to live my life.
So even with a familial history of breast cancer, you found that it was the right option for you?
Yeah, and I was afraid at first. I'll be honest with you. I was prescribed, when I found out I was in menopause, I got 4 words in my patient portal from my doctor. It said, in menopause, any questions? That was it. And I went, what? I can't be in menopause. I'm only 48. I was I had no idea. I didn't know when that even happened. And then when I started looking into it, I went, oh, hormones. I know I can't do that because my mom had breast cancer. So I went into the doctor and I said, yeah, I can't do that. So what else? What can I take? Can I take something else? I filled my supplement cabinet up with anything you could find that said menopause support, maybe it will, kind of, sort of, could do this. And I was like, bring it on. I'll take that. I don't want that. I let the hormone therapy that they gave me kind of just like go old in the medicine cabinet. And then nothing was really working. I wasn't sleeping anymore. I was sweating all the time. I was gaining weight. And mentally I felt terrible. And sex was just kind of off the table, not anything I was interested in. And I went back to the doctor and I said, I need to talk about this somehow. So I had seen a couple of different doctors and finally found one that said, listen, like, when we're talking about this, I want you to understand we're not talking about the fact that you can't get through your hot flashes. We're talking about what happens with long-term health. And because you have a family history of breast cancer does not mean you cannot take hormone therapy. You don't have a history of breast cancer. And so she really explained it to me in a way that made me go, okay, I'm going to go back home and research, because I can't just take somebody at face value. And I did. And I started it, and I was very nervous at first. I really, really was. And paid attention to everything and monitored everything, but then continued to do the research for the documentary in the book and realized that, I was suffering for the wrong reasons. And so I've been on hormone therapy a number of years and added testosterone in about maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And why the T?
Testosterone, because I had no sex drive, and
even on estrogen.
No, yeah. And it does help, but I just did not have any libido at all. And that sucked. I was newly married. I got remarried at 50 years old. And so I was like, that's not how I'm setting up my life. I want to, everything feels really great, but that's not working. And so I went back on, I had a conversation about testosterone. I tried it a couple of different ways. I tried it compounded, and then I settled on the gel. So, you put out just like a little pencil head of gel, and you alternate arms, and so it's made a considerable difference.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I was nervous about that too. I didn't come by anything lightly. I come by it as a normal woman. I'm not a doctor, so I am. But I've done an immense amount of research and interviews. But at the end of the day, I'm still a woman that's trying it out for myself, and so it's why I share a lot of that on social media, because I don't want people to think like, you just make this decision and you're all okay and there's no fear. There can still be fear, but there can still be real answers too at the end of that.
Wow. Well, I love that you found a solution.
Me too.
And that you're feeling so good.
So is my husband.
Yeah, wow, I love it.
But I'm happy about it for a couple of different reasons because, when I talk about it, I really believe it and I really have seen a difference. And that makes all the difference in the world when you're studying something or researching something.
What is the consensus regarding HRT for women who have had a personal history with cancer?
Yeah, it's a good question. There are a lot of different schools of thought on it. It depends on how advanced the cancer is. There are some doctors that will prescribe. There are some doctors that say, no way, that's not going to happen. And so it really is all up to individual providers and women to be part of that equation. And I think that's an important thing. I think because of the fact that many doctors, by their own admission, were not educated about this and had to go back and really learn about it. Like a lot of them just did not this was not in medical school. This is not part of curriculum. It's part of the fight that we're having right now is to try to make sure that state by state we have this in curriculums for doctors to learn. And so I think that it's up to a woman to be a partner with the doctor and to really take part in that process and decide what they want to do. Yeah, I really do. I mean, look, I think if my mom were alive today, she probably would not be a candidate no matter what. And I don't know any doctor would give her that because she had a double mastectomy and she had a very advanced breast cancer. Somebody else that I know that's a dear friend had a very low stage of breast cancer and has been prescribed. She's back on hormone therapy. So I think it's up to each individual woman with their provider.
And it's specifically breast cancer, right? It's like estrogen sensitive breast tumors.
Yeah, estrogen. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Man, so interesting.
It is, and I think that we have so much more to learn too, and that's where the research part comes in because we've just kind of been left out of so many things as women in general in the world of health, as you know. But I always wonder, like, wow, what's going to be ahead for us when it comes to understanding dementia, Alzheimer's, and breast cancer, and menopause, and especially in perimenopause now.
Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.